Have you ever had someone say, that's not my responsibility or that's not my department, and not be able to help you in a store, or have a colleague tell you that, you know what, that's not my problem, it's not my responsibility, and it really backs up production? Hi, I'm Debra Kasowski. I am a life, leadership, and business coach who helps individuals step into their potential and move past what they believe may be impossible for them into the possibility. Today, I want to talk to you about the differences between responsibility and accountability. Now, responsibility and accountability are often used interchangeably, but they do have different meanings. And think about it as I talk about it. You might even hear me use them interchangeably, but I want to, from the outset, talk about the differences between the two. So, responsibility is when someone has an obligation to complete a task. Now, this task can be delegated to others. So, if you're working on a team, or it can be shared amongst the team, but it is task focused. It is checking off those tick boxes. Whereas accountability, it is results focused. So it is acceptance, good or bad, of the outcome of what has been expected of the task. People can be responsible for something, but it doesn't mean that they're held accountable. So, for example, if someone is in charge of watering the plants, so they have the responsibility of watering the plants, but you don't know if they actually do it unless you hold them accountable. And you might be holding them accountable when you see a plant dying, shriveling up, or you also might see a plant that's blooming and has lots of foliage. Then there's an accountability that is a positive outcome. But it's not until we have to see if there's a consequence or a check-in milestone of some kind, or to see the reward, that we often see the accountability portion. So the difference with accountability is, again, it's results focused, and it is truly about making sure that the task got done. It's the commitment to ensuring the results. Now, this is not delegated. It is often one person responsible. That's why we have individual personal accountability. Then we have a professional accountability. So when you're thinking about accountability, I really want you to see it in the perspective of, how am I owning the results that we get? And that could be in your families, it could be in your organization, it could be in your team. You are as strong as your weakest link. And that's often where it shows up in accountability. So what I want to encourage you to do today is really think about your personal responsibility. Now, people will say, Deb, what does it truly mean to take 100% responsibility for your life and your work and your outcomes? Well, when you want to take 100% responsibility, I can tell you what it looks like. It means no complaining. It means no blaming, because there's 3 fingers pointing back at you. And it means that there's no excuses. There is no alibi. There is no accomplice to the crime, per se, in the fact that you are coming up with all these reasons why you can't do something, because maybe you have a limiting belief about whether it's possible or not. And the one thing that I have learned that is, when people have a burning desire with persistence and perseverance, they can get to the outcomes that they want, even in the toughest times, because they are so focused in on what the results that they want, that they will work with persistence. And I'll demonstrate to you by some examples of what responsibility looks like. So we said no complaining, no blaming, no excuses, no alibis. But also, how it shows up is asking for clarification, verifying that you're on the right track. It is about showing up even when you don't feel like it. That's being responsible, and being responsible for your words, your actions, your thoughts as well, and how you feel about situations. No one can make you feel anything. You are in charge of how that feeling is. And I'll tell you that the happiness that you might be pursuing is often when you know you can accomplish something, when you have this confidence and competence in yourself, and you go after something tough and everything works out. So that is often what that personal responsibility looks like. So showing up, asking questions, staying positive and respectful at all times. And it's also about being curious. What ways can you be better? You might also take responsibility by helping others who you see are struggling. That is responsibility, not only for yourself, but as your team and your organization, your families. So it's very powerful when people can take individual, 100% responsibility, that ownership for their own stuff. And you can't take ownership for your own stuff if you're not willing to make a commitment to yourself to give your best every single time. And your best will be different on any given day, but whatever your best is that day, give that. Now, when we're talking about accountability, it's taking that response to the results that you're getting and knowing that you are taking responsibility for the outcome as a whole. Now, whether you took the actions or did the tasks or not, you're still ultimately in charge of seeing the results coming to fruition. Now, accountability often gets a bad rap because people will say, well, I'm being micromanaged. Now, think about this. Micromanaging is taking over a task to get it to completion versus letting an individual take the task, but having the milestone check-ins to ensure that the task is done. So there is a difference in that. Now, if someone's coming in and saying, you're not doing this right and I'm going to take over, obviously that's a little bit more of a micromanagement situation. So really look in the context of what is being done. And if you're taking responsibility, you'll start asking questions and verifying whether or not you're on the right track or not. Questions are so powerful, and we can often get caught in what we can't do, but why don't we shift about what can be done? When we shift our questions, we start finding solutions. And this is the part I love about accountability. See, when people are being held accountable or being accountable, they are not complaining. They're bringing forth solutions to problems because they want the success, they want the outcome that the whole vision is surrounded by. They tend to be more proactive than reactive. See, responsibility and accountability work hand in hand, where responsibility is the ability to respond. And accountability is really building on that in coming from a place of being proactive, taking initiative, ensuring that we're getting the results that we want. It also involves speaking up. If you see something going awry and it's not going the way you think it should be, or you detect something off course, please speak up. Let someone know. You can be preventing further damage or loss by speaking up and everybody taking, let's do a check-in and reflection and, tweaking the plan as you go versus getting to the end of the road and having losses and costs and sacrifices along the way. So it is about speaking up, proactivity, initiative. So we talked about some of those things. Accountability is showing up, being committed. And one of the best forms for that, especially for leadership and the people around you, is walking the floor. Let people see that you're invested in what they're doing. That is the most powerful way to lead, is by visual representation, by being there, asking questions, showing that investment in your people. Now, I know I'm getting excited about accountability. So one of the a couple of reasons why I think that there's so many benefits to accountability. What you're going to see is when people are working together, holding each other individually accountable, as well as each other working toward that common goal and supporting one another, we have team cohesion. We have better communication. We have collaboration. And what we also have is the ability and the capacity to also see what can be done. They can take on more responsibility when you see them functioning as a unit. And I will tell you, when things are moving smoothly and it feels like it's going in flow, that's when we have increased performance and productivity. So responsibility and accountability, like I said, go hand in hand. But what we need to do is understand the differences and how they apply. Remember, A person can be responsible for something and not be held accountable. So today I challenge you to take responsibility for your words, your actions, and the results that you're getting. And better yet, get yourself an accountability partner who you need to check in with, whether it be in your family, saying that you're working on a habit or you're working on a goal and you have check-ins to make sure that you're on track. Just having someone to share that with can really elevate your standard for yourself and keep that commitment to you, as well as the people around you. And watch what happens when you take responsibility for your life, your outcomes, and watch the magic happen when you build in some accountability. Thank you for joining me. I would love for you to go over to my website at www.debrakasowski.com. You're going to get your free PDF, Reset Your Mindset, so you can stay on track, be the most powerful person that you can be for yourself, and get the results around you and make the world a better place. Have a great day.